We do not seek war. We have buried too many sons. We have seen too much blood in this region. We know the price of adventurism. We know the tragedy of miscalculation. But peace is not surrender. Restraint is not paralysis. Diplomacy is not silence. And patience is not permission. If India wants the world to take its threats seriously, Pakistan must compel the world to take our survival seriously. Our message must be clear. Any move to block, divert, manipulate, or potentially politically control Pakistan's rightful waters will not be treated as routine engineering. Every survey, every tender, every canal proposal, every dam design, every concrete step towards changing the flow guaranteed to Pakistan must be treated as a strategic warning signal. It must trigger a whole of the state response, legal, diplomatic, economical, political, informational, national security preparedness, and even military response. Pakistan should not allow India to climb the ladder of coercion while we remain trapped at the bottom, issuing statements of concern that says the final strangulation of water is an existential threat, cannot remain silent when the strangulation is prepared, financed, designed, tendered, and normalized. A nation does not wake up only when the riverbed is dry. A nation wakes up when the first stone is moved to dam our future. It is only rational to ask, what are we doing in terms of military preparedness as India continues to pursue her stated path? But let me also say this. Pakistan must not make a single move that concedes India's illegal position. We must not behave as though India's decision is fait accompli. We must not build policy on the assumption that the treaty is dead. We must not rush to create downstream substitute dams in a way that tells the world India has succeeded, now Pakistan is adjusting. Or give the impression that we were victorious on the battlefield but have surrendered on the banks of the river. No. Pakistan's position must remain immovable. The treaty lives. India's obligations are live. Pakistan's rights live. The Indus does not become India's instrument because India has discovered the language of abeyance. Projects and dams already approved before India's unilateral decision should continue on their own merit. Pakistan must complete what Pakistan has already planned. We must strengthen our dams, reservoirs, barrages, canals, and flood management systems because Pakistan needs water security regardless of India's aggression. But let us be precise. There is a difference between strengthening Pakistan and accepting India's blackmail. There is a difference between national resilience and diplomatic surrender. There is a difference between preparing for scarcity and legitimizing theft. We must move on a war footing for water conservation, of course. We must modernize irrigation. We must reduce waste in canals. We must invest in drip irrigation, smart agriculture, lining where needed, telemetering, groundwater regulation, recycling, and urban water discipline. We must make every drop count, not because India has a right to steal our water, but because Pakistan has a duty to respect its own future. We must explore every source outside the scope of the treaty. Desalination of our coasts, water recycling for our cities, climate-resilient water storage, regional water cooperation, and even the long-term feasibility of bringing water from Central Asia through negotiated corridors and sovereign agreements. Let engineers dream, let planners calculate, let diplomats negotiate, and let the state act with imagination. But do not confuse resilience with retreat. The Indus Water Treaty must be defended in every forum. The World Bank, the United Nations, international courts, and arbitrary bodies. friendly capitals, Muslim capitals, Western capitals, of African capitals and Asian capitals. Pakistan must internationalize the principle, not merely the grievance, because the world now needs new law. International law has rules for sea. Straits used for international navigation are governed by transit passage principles, and ships and aircrafts enjoy a right of transit passage that shall not be impeded. International water law also rests on the equitable and reasonable utilization, prevention of significant harm, and prior notification of measures that may adversely affect other states' sharing of water courses. International humanitarian law recognizes that water installation and irrigation systems are indispensable for civilian survival. And the ICRC has warned that the deprivation of water as a method of warfare is strictly prohibited. Yet the age we are entering demands more. We need a new international convention against the weaponization of waterways. It must apply to maritime choke points like Hormuz, to transboundary rivers like the Indus. It must prohibit the use of civilian water dependency as a coercive instrument. It must create emergency injunctions against unilateral treaty suspensions. It must impose automatic international scrutiny on projects that threaten downstream survival. It must recognize that in a climate-stressed century, water coercion is not merely unfriendly conduct. It is aggression by other means. The 20th century feared the bomb, so the 21st century must also fear the faucet controlled by a hostile hand. And to our Indian neighbors, I say this: you cannot build greatness on the thirst of another people. You cannot call yourself a civilization while threatening another civilization's river. You cannot speak of democracy while placing millions under hydrological siege. You cannot invoke development while turning water into a weapon. The Indus is older than both our flags. It has seen empires come and go. It has seen kings, colonizers, conquerors, generals, viceroys, prime ministers, and presidents. They all passed. The river remained, and Pakistan will remain. We must understand the nature of the conflict before us. It is not confined to one front. It is not only a matter of borders. Pakistan is being targeted through proxies, through propaganda, through economic pressures, through attempts at diplomatic isolation, through hybrid warfare, through the politics of fear, and now through the politics of water. This is war by other means. When a state seeks to isolate you, destabilize you, blame you, bleed you, then threaten the river that sustains your people, you are already in a war of national survival. Whether the guns are firing every day or not, the only test is not the only test of war. The test is whether the life of the nation is being targeted. And today, the life of the nation is being targeted.